Hello, hello. Hi, my name is Brooke-Sidney, and I'm the owner of a company called Bella and the Babe. And I'm also the creator of an amazing planner designed for mamas called the Mama Love Planner. That's available in daily and weekly editions. And tonight I wanted to get on and discuss mama guilt. So I've been noticing that a lot of times when I'm talking about self-care and self-love, which to me is the whole point of doing self-care, is I'm getting questions centered around the topic of mama guilt. And for those of you that are watching, I guess I would define mama guilt and the way that it's been talked about in the questions that I've received is feeling guilty for taking time away from our kids or taking time away from our spouses or our families to really do things for ourselves, right? Really, that's in essence what mama guilt is. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about why it's important for us to still do the self-care that we need as mothers, and why we want to try to flip the way we think about it. For the first thing, I mean, basically when we are talking about mama guilt, it is really looking at the fact that we as mamas have needs, right? We have needs, and when we feel guilty about them, it's at some level us thinking that our needs as a mother, as a parent, or whatever, are somehow not on par with our children's needs, or we feel guilty for putting our needs as women and as mothers, at the same level as our family needs. And, this is very, very common. Part of it, I think, is based in this premise, this old premise that being a mother truly requires sacrifice. And not to say that there aren't moments when we're going to sacrifice, right? We're definitely going to have times when we sacrifice our sleep, our energy, our resources, most certainly, our time. And, that often results in our energy, but that motherhood is sacrifice. I know that there's a lot of old paradigms where to become a mother means you actually give up your life for your child's life. And I want to challenge that perspective. I want to challenge that thought and say, no, that's not only not required, it's also not healthy. It's also not healthy. We want our children to not only see us as mothers, but also see us as whole people, right? Whole people that have needs and emotions and thoughts and, that we have our good days. We have mostly good days. We also have some times where we have bad days. And so I think part of releasing this guilt is being okay with us as women and us as mothers, acknowledging that we have needs and those needs are okay and those needs are healthy, okay? So I feel like that is kind of the foundation at which we kind of want to think about mama guilt, because why are we feeling guilty? We're feeling guilty because we don't want to take time away from our children or our families. We don't want our needs to supersede our family or children. And it's really not about superseding, but I know that's how it can feel. It's more about making our needs on par with our children and on our children's needs and on par with our spouse or partner's needs. So I really want to set that foundation about really having us think about our needs as being on par with our children, our family, our spouse's needs, because those are important as mother and women. The second thing I really want for us to think about is that if our children constantly watch us sidestep ourselves and sacrifice our needs for those around us, our spouse, our friends, whomever, they will learn ultimately that it's okay to devalue themselves in favor of others, right? Because half, if not all, of what being a parent or a mother is about teaching our children not just through what we say, but through who we are, right? Our children are constantly watching us. Our children are constantly seeing how we interact with them and the world around us. And so if our children see us always self-sacrificing, always giving up, always putting everyone else above ourselves, we're in fact teaching them to do the same, right? The other thing about it, as we consider mama guilt and we consider our needs, which is ultimately what this conversation is about, if we sacrifice our needs, are we truly embracing our life? I know that's a super deep way to look at it, but us having needs is a part of being a whole and full human being. And so when we are hesitant to embrace our needs, we are ultimately hesitant to embrace our lives, right? However you view spirituality, whether you believe it's God or universe, or you are, agnostic about it, we were all created for a purpose. That's what I believe. And as you know, from everyone having different personalities and different, ways of thinking about things, right? We have to embrace that essence of who we are. And part of that is embracing our needs. It's embracing our whole selves. And that is equivalent to embracing our lives, to embracing life, right? And we want to teach our children to do the exact same thing, to embrace who they are, to embrace their needs, to embrace their lives. So, when you start thinking about mama guilt and not valuing your needs as a mother, I want to encourage you to think about the deeper meanings of what we're mirroring to our children, right? And so I could talk about this today, but I'm just going to talk about one more point, because I think this is going to be a bigger conversation centered around mama guilt, and I don't want to talk for 20 minutes. I'd rather do bite-sized pieces. But the last thing I want to share for contemplation and reflection on this topic is that we do our children a spiritual service, right? A parenting lesson when we develop our ability to fulfill ourselves and take care of our emotions, right? And ultimately, self-care makes us feel better. Because at some level, the whole point of self-care, it's not about a massage. It's not about getting our nails done, even though those are things that could be, a self-care experience for you. It's ultimately about doing things that refresh and refuel and nourish us, and ultimately make us feel better, right? Make us feel better, make us feel able to take on the world, make us feel, able to have another sleepless night, to deal with another tantrum, to deal with the continuous why. For those of you that have preschoolers, you know what I'm talking about. Or, you have a teenager that comes home and is, rebellious. That is why we do self-care, to take care of ourselves so that they can then take care of others. And so when we are able to fully embrace and develop our ability to take care of ourselves and our emotions, right? And fully take care of ourselves and fully love ourselves, we are showing our children not only is it important, but that they should do it too, right? So I hope that this has been helpful as we continue this conversation on mama guilt, and as I continue to explore topics around self-care. I definitely feel like, if you haven't listened to my other recent Facebook Lives or Periscopes, I'm definitely taking this self-care conversation deeper in 2017 and 2018. I feel like right now, self-care is being overused, and it's basically being talked about and discussed as if it's all about pampering, which is fine. We as mamas need pampering, But what I am speaking of is a deeper level of self-care, a soul care, a spiritual care, a deepening, nourishing, restorative activities and experiences that truly rejuvenate us as mothers and us as women, okay? That bring ultimately greater self-love and self-knowledge. So that's where I'm coming from in terms of my self-care, self-love discussion. And I hope that you join me and share these messages out as we continue to explore. And as I continue to discuss, I feel like the more deeper elements of self-care and self-love. And for those of you that don't know, I am the creator of the Mama Love Planner, which I've mentioned, and the 2018 is available now. And so I would love for you to try the planner and experience it, because it is a great tool. In fact, it is the only tool out there that is developed and designed for mothers to help them plan and figure out the self-care tools and experiences that they need to be refreshed and restored. And it also is a gratitude journal. It asks you to give at least 3 items of gratitude daily. And of course, it's an intentional planner. It's an intentional planning system. So I encourage you to check it out. It's mamaloveplanner.com. And for a limited time, I'm offering 20% off. I would love to get the planner into more mamas' hands. And so definitely check it out. The information is in the title of this Facebook Live. And if you have any questions on self-care or the Mama Love Planner, please put them in the comments and I will do my best to address them. So I've enjoyed this conversation. Look out for another Mama Guilt and self-care discussion as I continue to go deeper into this topic, because I think it's so, so important that we as mamas are able to shed that guilt and be able to fully take care of ourselves and in the best way possible. So have an amazing evening, and I will talk with you soon.